Hi everybody, and welcome to this new moon solar eclipse reading for April 20th, 2023, occurring at 12:16 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm going to do a pick a card here, but I just have these three cards up to represent the first decan of Aries in which this eclipse is occurring in sidereal astrology. So I will put a timestamp below for the pile selection, as well as each individual pile if you wish to skip the intro. Okay, so starting off, this is at 29 degrees Aries in the tropical zodiac, but I'm going to be looking at it through sidereal astrology at 6 degrees Aries. That's the first decan of Aries. So this is ruled by the Two of Wands tarot card. The ruler is Mars. The major corresponding tarot cards are the Tower and the Emperor. This is masculine, fire, projective energy. Mars is the warrior. The Emperor took power by doing just that, taking what he wanted, taking action. Emperor has the power to destroy, which is the Tower, and rebuild to his will. So fire is will and spirit. So there's a desire to create or combat. So we have to break the soil in order to plant a seed. A sperm has to break the ovum in order to impregnate new life. The paradigm shift is happening, so we're clearing away the old with the Tower in preparation for planting the new. And combining this with the solar eclipse, it's not just a full moon or a new moon in this decan, it's a solar eclipse. So we're eclipsing in a whole new paradigm, a whole new shift and way of being for the next 6 months. So it's time for a bold plan of action with this fiery masculine energy at our fingertips. Aries rules the body. So physical changes can be successful, so we can start on those now if that's your goal. When I think of Mars too, also it's often associated in the negative aspect with anger, and anger is the expression of unrealized desires, dreams, or manifestations. So use that as motivation if that's something that you're experiencing at the moment. It can be actually to your advantage in this environment. Okay, so moving on to the Sabian symbol associated with 6 degrees, but actually 7 degrees Aries, because you round up when looking at the symbol associated with the placement of the planet. So the eclipse is at 6 degrees and some change, and we're going to round up to the 7th degree, and the description is a man succeeds in expressing himself simultaneously in two realms. And it's interesting that we have the tarot card, the Two of Wands, associated with this Sabian symbol and this decan, because it is like basically heaven and earth, as above so below. There's two realms here, and the man is in the middle, operating both at the same time. So the description reads, the keynote is the first realization of the dual nature of man and the possibilities it implies. The primordial one-sidedness of emotional and cultural manifestation actually calls for the compensatory ability to operate at two levels. Thus, the primary dualism of sky and earth, of the divine and the human, of spirit and matter. As above, so below. The vision and the emotions are focused within sharply defined boundaries, but within these boundaries they express themselves at two levels. This is the foundation of religion as well as magic. A situation which has become characterized by this symbol can be successfully faced if its spiritual and material implications are understood and actualized. We see at work man's capacity for living two separate lives and finding fulfillment and happiness in both. On this capacity are founded many of the complexities of human nature. So to me, I get this feeling of a persona almost. The occult and magic is hidden for a reason, because if people see those practices that you have going on behind the curtains, then they're easily corruptible or open to ridicule or attack. So by keeping that part of your life separate, I'm not, actively telling people to go out and deceive your loved ones, but we have an inner private life, and then we have the outer life that the face we show the world. That's the sun and the moon. And what do we have here in the solar eclipse but the merging of the two? This is the man standing in the middle of the pillars, being depolarized and able to operate and interchange between the two of them and remain neutral in the middle. That's how you maintain control of this polarized existence that we have. Again, you can't change the world, but you can change your world. All right. So in Vedic astrology, we have the nakshatra, the first nakshatra, Ashwani, is where this eclipse is taking place. And the Ashwani Kumaras are the golden armored horse-headed twins, and they are physicians to the gods, the friends of the sick and the unfortunate. They scale the skies, showering their healing energies on the earth plane. The Ashwini Kumaras represent the transition from darkness to light, cosmically and metaphysically. They heal the blind, the deaf, the lame, and give back their youth to the old. Ashwini rules all forms of transportation and fast travel. They are very active, always busy doing something and quick in action, swift like the falcons and possessed of many forms. This to me sounds very familiar to the myth of Apollo driving his chariot across the sky, or perhaps Mercury or Hermes with the Caduceus, him being the healer and the fastest traveler, and ruling over travel and transportation. And it's interesting that we have Mercury going station retrograde April 21st, the day after the eclipse, and that'll last until May 14th when it stations direct. I'll do a separate reading on that. But talking back to this nakshatra, there's favorable and unfavorable suggestions for this time frame when the moon is in this position. So favorable, auspicious for beginnings, like learning new things, laying foundation, taking medicine, rejuvenation and healing, self and physical improvements, brisk thought and action, equestrian activities, buying and selling, traveling, vehicle repair, wearing jewelry or clothes, occultism, law, sacred installations, and renaming. I think that goes really well, complements the Tower and the Emperor too. And so there's unfavorable actions are marriage, conclusions, emotional and sexual activity, actions requiring patience, or intoxication. I've often also heard that it's not a good idea to overindulge during a new moon. This is the moon's waning phase. It's the darkest, it's the void, and you don't want to plant that activity or that energy into a new lunar cycle. So abstaining from those things can help give a clear mind, a clear direction for the following days, in this case, months to come. So the body parts associated with this nakshatra are the knees and the top portion of the feet. The elements are wind or air and space, so ether. The color is blood red. The gender is male. The direction is south. And the clan, whatever that is Marichi, which names translate as the light and the swift one. Again, that makes me feel like a mercurial association. So we could see again rapid shifting, but staying depolarized in the center will minimize the effects of any external forces that may be presented to us on the world stage in the next 6 months to come. So remain centered and grounded in control of your little world. Stay focused on what you can control in your immediate environment and not the towers falling around you, metaphorically. So, all right, I'm going to move on to the reading now. And again, I'll put timestamps for each pile. Thank you for listening to this intro. See you soon. All right, welcome to the pile selection. So on pile number 1, we have Labradorite. Pile number 2, there is a dragonfly with amber. And pile number 3, you have this black and silver Vesica Pisces with the Eye of Providence on the bottom and a moon on the top. So take a look and see which pile resonates for you most closely. You can pick more than one pile if you like, but these will be the messages for the new moon solar eclipse, and that could have lasting effects up to 6 months. Okay, I'm going to put timestamps below, and we'll start with pile 1. Hello, pile 1. You chose this lovely Labradorite. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. All right. Beginning with your Queen of the Moon Oracle. Acceptance, number 4. Same number as the Emperor card, one of the major arcana associated with this solar eclipse. 4s are about stability, but also doorways, new opportunities. Accepting, I'll read this from the book, but it has to do with accepting the current circumstance and working with where you are now. What is it? The first step is admitting you have a problem, right? And the 12th step, but it's accepting reality for what it is, but only then when you are able to take off the rose-colored glasses and look at the situation for what it is, then you're empowering yourself to be able to make active changes towards it, which is what we're aiming to do for this eclipse. Acceptance of the current situation is the first step to change. The past does not exist. The future hasn't happened. There is only right now. I accept where I am and who I am right now. Choosing to accept ourselves fully and the position we are in enables us to take the next step towards growth. When we can plant our feet solidly into the earth and say, yes, here is exactly where I am and I accept this fully, then we can take the next steps confidently, honestly, and powerfully towards where we now wish to head. Accepting where we are right now in its fullest allows us to accept that there may be some chaos in our change before there is a full order again. Well, that also relates to the major cards that we went over in the intro, because the chaos of the tower falling down before the order of the emperor is put in. So this can be an exciting feeling rather than one that generates fear if we hold our new intentions clearly. The companion stone or metal is lepidolite. Okay. Let's see what your Rose Oracle has to add to this. Codes of the seeds. The blueprint is within you. Take the next step. So you have all this. This is a great card of potential. There's infinite potential in the void of the new moon. So again, taking an understanding that everything you need is already within you, accepting what gifts and talents you have, what resources you have, and you're able to express that coming through over the next 6 months. In taking the next step, it's that fiery Aries energy encouraging you to take action now. You have everything you need to get started. Okay, the Angels and Ancestors card is Great Teacher, learn from spiritual experiences. Okay, so the acceptance card mentioned, the past doesn't exist. True to some extent, but it does, because it teaches us lessons. It teaches us that's how our spirit grows, is by learning from our past. So everything can be seen as an opportunity for spiritual growth. This could be, again, you being your own teacher, learning these hard lessons perhaps that have been a part of your life recently, but the only way to make a situation better is to learn from it and make those active changes. And next, our astrology card, we have conjunction, a union, merging, a coming together. Well, that's what this eclipse is, the sun and the moon conjunct. Okay, so you might have strong aspects to this eclipse, either conjunctions, squares, oppositions, hopefully, more supportive aspects to your natal planets like trines or sextiles. But this is definitely a clear sign to me that this is your starting point. This is like a starting line, right? Where you start to run the race towards your manifestation. House 1. Yeah, this is the beginning. You start at 1. Start at level 0. And then we impress our will upon it and we graduate to level 1. You break through that shell. Things are hatching. I mentioned in the beginning about, fertilizing an egg, even with the action of the male sperm. It has to break ground. There's the egg cracking there, right? You have to break the ground, till the soil before you can plant the seeds. And with this eclipse happening in Aries in house 1, we have individuality, self-image, and approach to life. So some of you could be, again, accepting where you are and making active changes towards your health or physical condition in some way. But it could also just be an expression of self. And maybe you've been, this is you literally coming out of your shell. If you've been kind of withdrawn, she almost looks like in a womb or a cocoon there. There's the potential inside of this here, and there's potential in an egg for life. Like there's potential to grow an entire forest out of one acorn. Let's see. This is I get this great sense of charging up. Like there's a huge accumulation of energy, or it's been accumulating for a long time, and now it's ready to burst forward. So let's see what your archetype card is. We have the riddle, number 53, which is the 16th prime number, which corresponds to the major arcana, the tower, that is part of this decan where the eclipse is occurring. So let's take a look at the riddle. The title of this card is The Puzzle, the Question, the Mystery. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for, quote, the right answer. It cannot be found, and ultimately it is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to mythic. You are thinking too small and literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom of a Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it, neither will increased effort. Time, surrender, and humor are your only allies. What feels like the most pressing dilemma won't reveal its deeper wisdom for a long time. That has to do with the learning spiritual experiences with the great teacher card. Eventually, you'll learn a profound lesson from the riddle. For now, get comfortable with the limitations of your intellect and the reality of not knowing. It may, in fact, be the only reality there is. So, pushing forward, right? We don't know what lies on the other side of the abyss, but you're being asked to take this leap of faith that the answers will reveal itself in time. I know it sounds like a spiritual cop-out, but it's just a reminder of the honest nature of our manifestations. You have to set it and forget it. If you dwell on it, then your conscious mind blocks it from manifesting. You have to still show up every day and put forth the effort without focusing on the end result. It's called lust for results, and it can impede your manifestations. Okay? So when light, a great awakening or aha moment. When dark, manipulation, deceit, or trickery. Who am I? The only way to work with a riddle successfully is to not work. Again, set it and forget it. All right. Well, let's go on to your tarot cards. See if we can expand upon this message for you. I'll move this back slightly so I can put another row. Pile 1. Any messages for Pile 1 viewers about this journey they're undertaking during this eclipse? Okay, that seems like a lot. Let's see where it goes. 5 of Cups. All right. Yeah, so something needs to be released. Something needs to be let go of. Again, accepting your present situation requires you to let go of the past. Or, like I was saying with your manifestations, set them in motion and forget about them. Turn your attention to something else. But don't focus on the loss. Focus on what is gained in the situation. We have the Devil. Okay. So originally in reverse, we're talking about, again, that release that has to occur. So, again, Devil is Saturn, which is a great teacher. We have the High Priestess. That's the inner self, the higher self, the knowing, the learning. If you watched the intro, I went over the Two of Wands, which is the card representing the first decan of Aries, where this eclipse is occurring. And this is another 2 card, and she is also between 2 pillars, much like the man in that picture. So it again is calling on you to stay depolarized, remain neutral, remain in the middle, avoid temptation of being pulled back into the past or old habits, or trying to become too anxious and focus on the future. And that's part of the riddle too. The only way to make it work is to not work. It seems rather counterproductive, but that's just how energy flows. So next we have the Two of Swords, another 2. So 2, 2. 11, 11. I hear maybe Gemini season could be an important time for you, sidereal or tropical, but those might be the beginning where you start to see your seeds sprouting. You start to see the results of the effort that you began today. Next, we have the 7 of Cups. Confusion, illusion, delusion. Yeah, but it's also your options, right? You have many choices to pick from of which direction to go, and that's kind of the dilemma in the Two of Swords as well. You may be, again, trying to take the blindfold off, trying to see deeper, either for the meaning of the recent events or which direction, which cup do you drink from? Where do you want to put your energy next? That might just take some quiet time and reflection and meditation in order to discover what is going to bring you the most fulfillment. And then we have the 9 of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment. So this, I think, is also could be distractions. So don't allow yourself to be distracted from your goal. Again, avoid the temptation of the devil to deceive you or to pull the wool over your eyes here with the Two of Swords. It's, you know where that road goes. You know where it ends. There's no reason to go down it anymore. When there's another road that will lead to something so much more satisfying. But it takes willpower, and we're in the season of Aries and fire and will, and that masculine drive of focus and determination in order to make it happen. And we have the Justice card, number 11. And that's pretty great because we have the 1111 here, and now we have the actual number 11. So I mentioned remaining depolarized, staying neutral, staying present, staying grounded. The scales are not off balance. They're centered there, right? So there is a part of you that perhaps, again, this is the moon in Libra, is the Two of Swords, and this is the card of Libra. Could it be a relationship or a person that may have held you back or pulled you out of balance? If somebody's triggering you, you need to examine why that is. Is it because a part of you or part of them exists in you, and your reaction is that rejection of that part of yourself, rather than accepting it and saying, you know, we started this card with acceptance. It can have to do with integrating your shadow. It can have to do with, you know, this devil aspect of you, as we all have. We all have a shadow side. So some of that dark work could be done at this time under the new moon as well, which is a good time for it. But that is the only way you're going to neutralize the situation, is by providing it with, by shining a light on it. Okay. Even the nakshatra associated with this eclipse is the very first one, and it has to do with transmuting dark into light and the chariot of light being driven over the sky, pouring healing and light down onto earth. So go back and watch the intro if you want to get more info on that. But here we have the pillars here, and the card of this eclipse being the Two of Wands. And we have the Four of Swords, rest, peace. Yeah, being at peace with yourself, being at peace with the situation. Another 4 that aligns with this acceptance card. 4-4. We have doorways. Doors are opening for you. The faster you accept something and let it heal. Again, like I mentioned, this need for inaction rather than reaction, of course. There's only now neutrality or movement forward. Those are your choices, because reaction is exhausting. It does nothing but keep you stuck, keep you trapped in that devil energy of counterproduction. And this is, again, coming to peace with maybe past mistakes that you've made in that realm. But the rest and recovery that you give yourself, the more that you're able to be rested, get more sleep, the better you'll feel. All right, and then we have strength. That's a great way to end it. Okay, I was worried. I was like, why do we need all these cards? Okay, but we do. We have the strength card, the strength of Leo, the sun, our solar plexus, the strength of ourself, our creator-given seed or spark of life that still lives within us. I think, what was it, a couple of years ago I read that they were able to photograph the instant that life entered an egg, supposedly. Like there's a flash of light, actually, when an egg becomes fertilized. And that could be essentially, the spark of life or the beginning of things. So I'm just seeing that as a micro level solar system. Like you are your own microcosm. You have a sun burning within you that is able to power this transformation, that's able to push you through all of these spiritual lessons that you may have been given. But imagine the strength that you have now, having defeated the devil. Now you are able to become this great teacher. You're able to share this love, this light, this wisdom with other people based on your experiences and how you were able to overcome them. By pushing through these boundaries, pushing through the barriers that your mind has set up, because that's all they are. It's in your mind. And that could be the reason for the Libra, the air symbolism coming up as well. It's the mental prison or the mental limitations that you have previously put on yourself, not being able to see your own strength. And perhaps that is a gift that you have. You can show other people their strength as well. All right. I think I will end with some Making Magic cards. Let's get 3 cards for our pile 1 to help them on their journey for the next 6 months. 3 cards. Let's see what fell out. All right. Well, more than 3, that's okay, but healing landed face up. So true healing of the mind, body, and soul. I think that is the focus here for the next 6 months for you. The sun, the golden energy of the sun brings fame and fortune. I mentioned the microcosm of having your own solar system within you, right? So that you're powered by your own sun. And abracadabra with wings, fantastic good fortune and lucky chances. That could be the 9 of Cups as well. That wishes come true is typically what it's called. So I think, again, you'll see yourself become lighter spiritually, possibly physically, emotionally, but there's an unburdening here that is happening. And achievement, win the award, accolade, or contract. So you're winning in the end. You come out a winner. I can't say it any better than that, so I will leave it there. Thank you, Pile 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If so, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome, Pile 2. You chose this beautiful amber dragonfly. One of my favorite animals I started to resonate with last year. So it is a transformation. They spend about 75% of their life in the water, and then they sprout their wings for their reproductive cycle, and they become of the air element. So let's see what kind of transformation is awaiting you with this eclipse. Beginning with your Queen of the Moon Oracle, we have peace, number 28. 28's the second perfect number, 6 being the first, where all the divisors sum to the number 28. But anyway, it's also the number of days in a lunar cycle. So to me, this is speaking again of harmony, of peace, being in sync, in rhythm with the universe and the changing energies around you. She's got this like peaceful orb of light around her, almost protecting her like a bubble. So it feels like your defenses are strong, you're comfortable with where you're at, you're looking to maintain that. Or if you're not there, this is something you are aiming to achieve. Okay, the card reads, peace of mind is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. Refuse drama and do not freely engage with people who use drama as a weapon. Stop fighting. Allow yourself to rest for a while. When we let go of what we no longer need, we make room for peace. The mantra is, I choose to create and hold peace. I allow this to ripple out into the world. We can be more focused and mindful about what we are doing in real time. We can place ourselves deliberately in sessions in quiet, beautiful, and peaceful environments. We can learn what for us brings our body rest and peace. We can choose to not do the head miles of worry. Worry is, after all, chewing gum for the mind. Not really nutritious in any way, but sometimes something to do. When we let go of what we no longer really need, peace floods in, taking up this old space and healing it. The companion stone or metal is amethyst. It's funny because I almost chose an amethyst charm for this reading. I don't think for this pile, but interesting nonetheless. But all right, next we have for the Rose Oracle, the sacred waters, nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, self-care. Okay, so pile 2, you need some peace, you need some rest, you need some healing waters. Perhaps drinking more water will help you come into a more homeostatic place of being. But nourishment, it's self-care is really important. Spa day, relaxation, some kind of, you ever do sensory deprivation tanks, like where you float in the darkness in a pod? But health, rest, and self-care. So take your time to rejuvenate, get away, take a break. So again, if I feel like I mentioned some of you are in this place of peace, but it looks more like you're seeking that, or maybe just making that more of your daily habit. Set aside a little time every day for your own personal rest, recuperation, and rejuvenation, whether it is maybe a bath or a shower, something where you don't have to engage with anyone or any other energies for the time being. But making a daily self-care habit can be beneficial for you over the next 6 months. We have the Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. Okay. So we did mention that these solar eclipses bring in changes externally, right? And the key to that, if you watch the intro, and being the central pillar, being the deneutralized commander of your own world, you can't control the world around you, but by staying centered and grounded at this peaceful place of where things are, so you can trust yourself and your ability to control your world in a possibly chaotic environment, such as the tower. That was also part of this intro and associated with this decan of Aries. So I'll read from the book here. The message is: stay alert as changes in the air. The spirit fox features my favorite animal of all time, the red fox, an amazingly resilient creature able to survive in urban environments or the freezing temperatures of the Arctic. Foxes know what it's like to be hunted. For centuries, they have been sought for their precious fur when all they want to do is survive. So the spirit fox can help you overcome the energies of adversity and unfair treatment. Also, as urban foxes hide in cities and go about their businesses in the darker hours, the fox offers the medicine of blending in. The energies around you are changing at this time, and although it may not always be comfortable, you are equipped with all that you need to survive this shift. You are being presented with opportunities to reach spaces you've never encountered before, and this can make you feel on edge, but be open to the shifts occurring because they really are the answers to your prayers. The experience of being hunted or threatened is now behind you, and you are being invited to come out from your den and reveal your glory and talents. Call upon Spirit Fox Medicine to help you be seen for who you are and trust in your talents in order to be the best you can be in these changing times. So not just trusting in your talents, trust in your own energy. Trust in your ability to withstand whatever is happening outside of this bubble. You are a calm, centered, grounded being in the center of it all. So let the chaos swirl outside your door. It's not anything, it's not your business. It's not affecting you. Okay? And next, for your astrology cards, we have Leo. Self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. Okay, so again, trusting yourself, self-confidence, loyalty, creativity. I think, like wily like a fox, right? They're creative, they're sly, they're problem solvers, they're intelligent. So having to maybe come up with some creative solutions in these changing times that you are uniquely you is the key to your success here. With Leo being the individual, also a sister fire sign of Aries where this is happening. You may have placements in Leo that are being harmoniously trined by this new moon solar eclipse, encouraging you to bring out that inner creativity, that inner expression. It meant, time to come out of your den and share your talents with the world. And again, maybe you were kind of secluded in this little bubble for a while. And next we have Pluto. Okay, it's transform. So it's a change. It's literally a hatching. You chose the dragonfly, right? I mentioned they live most of their life in kind of a larval stage in an egg under the water, right? They hatch and then they grow wings like the butterfly here in the Pluto card. They go from one element, the sacred waters, to the change in the air, the spirit fox. So this is your ability to kind of ride that wave, to go with the flow. And because Pluto and Mars are both rulers of Scorpio, Mars is the ruler of this solar eclipse. So it only makes sense that in working together with the destruction of Mars comes the transformation of Pluto. So I feel like, again, you'll have an opportunity here to imprint your own ideals, your own solutions, and present them to the world, and people can recognize you for that and start aligning with you, or possibly learning from you, purchasing your products, your creative output, whatever intellectual property that you develop at this time, people could benefit from and help them change their individual worlds as well. Pluto also rules Scorpio, the 8th house of death, transformation, and change. So the next solar eclipse is happening in October 14th, and that is not quite tropical Scorpio, but we're going into that time frame. Okay, so finally, let's take a look at your archetype card, the Forest, number 36. I love this card. It's so pretty. I'm going to put it in the middle. Okay, so the woods, the thicket, the jungle. Consider for a moment your earliest memory of the forest. It's likely it included all the mythic dynamics of this archetypal space, a little fear, a little enchantment, perhaps losing your way, perhaps discovering a secret mystical treasure. Such is the magic of the forest. It requires first that you enter it, and then that you get lost within it. You may think there is a path to lead you straight through, but soon enough you'll be on what is known as the pathless path. There are tricksters here, dense foliage, and entanglement, but equally present are the glimmers of fairy light and friends among the trees. You're on an adventure now, and there's no turning back, so embrace the dim light and moving shadows. Whether literal or imaginal, brave the forest and get lost, getting found. If you get out of the forest without feeling lost, you are only in a little grove of trees. The great archetypal forest requires we spend at least one night frightened for our life. The hunter, the maiden, and the crone and the shaman make regular appearances in the forest. Don't be surprised if these cards come up together. Let the narrative reveal itself. When light, the forest is magic abounds, childlike wonder and adventure. When dark, concealment, density, or savagery. So in the light aspects, the childlike, magical, adventurous side, that can abound with the Leo. I mentioned a retreat to sacred waters. Perhaps that would involve a forest as well with a body of water in it in order to kind of become centered or grounded if things become too chaotic in your environment. A safe place to retreat, if it's physically possible, could be ideal. It's interesting, I've been having to interrupt this reading several times, having to pause it because the sirens have been going nonstop outside my door for the last 10-15 minutes since I concluded pile 1. It was totally uninterrupted, but your pile keeps getting, there really is change in the air. There's almost like, and I kept looking at this card like, I'm my own little Zen master, the own controller of my environment. It's there's going to be a lot of invasive energy that's going to want to try and pull you out of that space. That's going to try to, again, confront you with these dangers of going through this forest. It's like you're braving unknown territory, and there will be a lot of discouragement and obstacles along the way, but your creativity, your problem solver, you might have a lot of Gemini in your chart as well, that you can evade these traps or these delusions or these stop signs. You can see right through people's tricks or distractions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some tarot cards to expand upon your reading, hopefully without further interruption. So yes, while chaos is erupting outside your world, you remain calm, centered, contained, protected, and peaceful. I get this chameleon-like vibe from you too, again with the fox I mentioned, the ability to blend in, to move silently in the night. Like you don't telegraph all of your plans, all of your intentions or moves. There's definitely things that you're keeping to yourself, and with good cause. Okay, let's take a look underneath the deck. Ooh, Judgment. So this is actually the ruled by the planet Pluto and the element of fire, and we have this solar eclipse in Aries, which is fire. So the fiery judgment, fiery rebirth that comes out of that. There is a change, a transformation here. And this comes right before the world card, right before the end, right before the final stage of alchemy. It's like things are still in the crucible being formed, but judgment again could be a decision of having to make. Okay, and the Emperor, this is one of the ruling majors associated with the eclipse in the first decan of Aries. So taking control, setting firm boundaries with the peace card there. If you want peace, you got to create peace. Take control of your little world. And then we have the Strength card, Leo, showing up again. So the sun, new life, new light. But bravery, courage it takes to go into the darkness as you have in the forest there, or to brave the storm. Ten of Swords. To me, again, I immediately heard boundaries as well. This looks like a fence. That's the first thing I saw, honestly, before there were swords in the back. But boundaries can have to do with cutting people out, cutting things off, whether it be bad habits or toxic people or environments, but there's an end. Ten of Swords is no going back. It's once the two elements have come together to create a third, the combustion happens. You can't undo that chemical reaction. It's what's done is done. The change is made. So this is great that you're not looking back. I mean, you and the Lion are looking forward. And then we have the Devil. Okay, it's definitely cutting things out that are threatening your peace, threatening your little space, your world. I think it has a lot to do with, again, finding your inner strength, finding your value. It's like once you recognize how much you're worth, you stop giving people discounts. And you say, no, enough is enough. I am better than that. I have more to offer than that. And that's part of the self-care regime that started this entire reading, is prioritizing that about yourself, and stop, leaking your prana. Stop letting the devil tempt it out of you. Instead of engaging in that verbal argument with that person, it's turning the other cheek and having the strength to walk away, to not engage in it, just as an example. But also to let go of any temptation to remain in old habits, or again, situations that are not good for you, because you are the emperor. You have this ability here you have the authority over your life. And then we have the Six of Wands. Yeah, victory over the devil. What could be better than that? So that is also, that's Jupiter in Leo. So a lot of the strength of Leo coming through. Again, maybe that time, either in tropical or sidereal astrology, you could be seeing the manifestations of the changes that you have planted and begun under this solar eclipse. So mid to late summer, starting to see things really solidify for you. Now let's take a look at your Making Magic cards. So victory over the chaos, honestly. Your peace is your reward there. The card that started this all. You're awarded peace in the end. Peace of mind. I think internal and external. All right, underneath the deck we have on target. Follow your ideal life path. So whatever you're doing, again, whatever decision you make here in the Judgment card, you're on target. You made the right choice to put an end to this nonsense. And then we have fairy magic. Respectfully work with the fairies and elements to achieve your goals. And it's interesting, in the forest, they mentioned the lights of the fairies there to kind of help you and guide you. So if that's something you're guided to work with, then go for it. But also, to me, it just speaks of a promising light in the darkness. Your guides will drop signs for you to keep you encouraged, to stay on target, to stay on your path, rewarding you along the way with these symbols, in order for you to know, like, you're following the trail of light. One enchanted evening, the perfect night. Okay, more references to night. So I think in the darkness you're finding your most profound answers, or perhaps in your dream time when you're asleep, the solutions will come to you. And then safe and happy travel, protection from harm when journeying. Well, that's good to have. We have Mercury retrograde coming up April 21st to May 14th, immediately after this eclipse. So, yeah, that's good to know. Again, you're safe on your trail through the dark woods, on the way to your victory. There's definitely protection around you. I felt the boundaries here in the swords, as well as the beginning of this card. With the bubble, all these could be little fairies surrounding you. All right, well, we made it through this reading. It was a struggle. I don't know why, but if that's any indication of what's going to happen, it's just like, keep pushing forward and keep deflecting any attempts to derail you or cause fear, because it's counterproductive. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this reading, pile 2. Let me know in the comments below if you did. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome, pile 3. You chose this really cool earring that makes a Vesica Pisces, which is a portal in itself. And then we have, of course, the Eye of Providence down there and the crescent moon at the top. Okay, let's see what your Queen of the Moon oracle card is. The masculine, well, that's number 42, and we have this eclipse happening in the sign of Aries, which is all masculine energy. If you watched the intro, the card associated with this decan is the Two of Wands, and what is he holding except two wands? So I encourage you to go back and watch that if you haven't already. It's just going to reiterate the energy expressed there, but I'm going to read about the lunar god. This is the perfect card, I think, for this eclipse. Taking action, taking control, power. The Emperor is the other associated card with this decan of Aries. The Emperor is ruled by Aries, Mars. So let's take a look at the lunar god. The card says it's time to step forward and lead. Be the leader in your own life. You have more power than you think. It is time to formally learn more. Enroll in a course or learn a new skill. Offer your protection to someone weaker than yourself. Take steps to improve your health and vitality. May the positive attributes of the masculine align with me. While lunar gods are rare, usually their realms are the solar, they are auspicious when they appear. The traditional positive attributes of the masculine, such as strength, physical vitality, power of will, shielding and protection of the weak, are important for anyone to adopt, no matter their gender or orientation. Should you pull this card, it is asking you to step up into your power, your uniqueness, and offer your guidance to those who may need it. The companion stone or metal is black opal. Well, I don't have a black opal, but I did pick a black earring for this pile. Interesting. Okay. So, there's often those phrases thrown around about toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. This is healed masculine energy. This is healthy masculine. I believe, the world needs both. Again, regardless of the physical body you inhabit, having a healthy masculine energy within us all serves a great purpose, as much as having a healthy feminine does inside all of us. So this could be, again, a great healing that is occurring over the next 6 months of your masculine energy as you step into this healed leadership role. So let's take a look at the Rose Oracle associated here. The Anointed, answer the call, leadership, empowerment, soul gifts. All right, so some of you are being asked again to step up. This is saying you are healed, or you will become healed to the point where you are able to be put in this position of authority. People are going to look up to you. People are going to appreciate what gifts and you've developed as a result. So, and let's see the next card, Mountains, stand your ground. Wow, this is very strong masculine energy coming through. And I mentioned above, again, with the Two of Wands, and even the nakshatra that this is taking place, or was it the Sabian symbol? The whole man living two lives, the man's ability to embody two lives. But it has to do with the earth and the air element, and this is like a reflection of a mountain, almost seemingly on a lake, but the heights of the mountain are the air element, and the mountain itself is earth. So, yeah, but this is often also, a physical obstacle that you're having to climb, or this can be an actual physical representation of your ascent into this leadership role. But that only can happen from a strong ego. The masculine is the ego. So having a strong identity, not letting others influence or sway your opinion, your mission, having a clear vision and standing your ground and saying, this is how it is. This is reality. I mean, confronting people with that, and those weak egos are going to fall away. They won't be able to tolerate it. They can't handle the truth, so to speak. I'm going to just glance at the book here about the description of the mountain. Okay, so the message is hold firm to what you believe in or are focusing on because it is absolutely right. Know that heaven and earth are supporting you. Mountains are strong and wise. They are rooted deep in the earth and reach high into the sky. They have been where they are for thousands of years. They have been home to animals. They have been climbed by humans, and they have seen seasons come and go. No matter what has happened to them, they have remained strong, immovable, and unshakable, and so they offer the spiritual energies of strength and resilience. Extended message is mountain energy is powerful because it's firmly rooted in Great Mother, and it reaches high into Great Father. If you are feeling challenged or pressured at this time, know that your spirit is more powerful than you think. You are resilient and grounded, and the energy and air of the mountains is giving you the unshakable strength to be who you are. Take time to root yourself deeply in the energy of the earth before welcoming in the energies of heaven. If you're not sure what you need to do next, the mountain card invites you to stay exactly where you are. Talk things over with those around you and know that change will come to you. You will be whole and well at the end of this current situation, and it will not stand in the way of your future growth and expansion. Okay. And this anointed one, it says empowerment too, right? So again, mountains are very powerful. They don't move for anybody. Or in your empowerment, you have the, quote, power to move mountains. All right, let's take a look at your astrology cards. Capricorn, more very firm, terra firma, right? Earth energy, ambition, realism, and methodical steps. Yeah, there's the 10th house of career and recognition. And so this is literally your life's calling, is to be a leader. This is your destiny, your journey, what your soul came here to do, and you know it, or you're getting clarity on that, and you have firm ground to stand on. And the Capricorns, they're the mountain goats, right? They can traverse these treacherous cliffs that are sheer rock faces on like that much for them to stand on. So it requires incredible patience with the hourglass there. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, and he teaches us lessons until we get it right. So there are certain steps and ways that things need to be done in order for you to achieve these great heights. But this discipline comes with a great reward. Let's take a look at your next astrology card, Saturn. Feel restricted, experience struggle, learn hard work and patience. Yeah, it'll pay off though. I mean, it's not an easy journey to the top. Not everybody climbs mountains because it's not easy. But this is definitely calling you into that masculine energy of ambition, of answer the call. You belong at the top. It's time for you to start climbing this ladder, this mountain. Saturn is demanding it of you. You could be having a Saturn aspect to your natal chart right now, or a Saturn return, but there is a great challenge that you're being presented with, and you're being asked to answer the call with ambition and positivity and a lot of energy. So I'm really curious to see what this archetype card is now. The Shadow. Okay, 28. Now, immediately as I'm looking at this card, in the context of the eclipse, so we have a solar eclipse. That means the shadow of the earth is being cast upon the sun. The sun is the masculine. So perhaps there is a shadow that you're being illuminated to. Like I mentioned in the beginning with the masculine, there's the healthy masculine and the wounded masculine, just like there is the feminine. So maybe getting in touch with what is that wounded masculine energy as it expresses at itself as toxic masculinity, things to get rid of or integrate or accept into your light self. The things that you push down and don't want anybody to see, that's your shadow self. The parts of your personality that do not get recognition, praise, and award. You've learned to suppress those so people don't reject you. But in part of this empowerment, I feel, again, part of the strengthening of this ego is embracing that part of you that you have to learn from. Again, Saturn will keep showing you that part of yourself until you can learn to heal it. So let's read a little bit about the shadow. Okay, the title of this card is The Unspeakable, the Unwelcome, the Denied. Although every card in the archetype deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that the shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through effort and achievement. However, it is typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is the very source of shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves in the world, we begin to separate from the whole. Rather than getting to know the qualities and content of our shadow, we busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is denial. When this card appears, it is time to take inventory of those things you've been denying. When the mind responds with no, anything but that, you are touching shadow. Find support for this deep inner work and move toward the shadow with patience and compassion. And new moons in general, and especially this solar eclipse, is more powerful new moon, working with that dark energy. It's the dark void of the moon. Everything is black. This is the shadow. These are things that we're bringing to light, and even the Vedic nakshatra speaks of that. those healer gods that are in charge of it, Ashwini Nakshatra. They drive their chariot across the sky, bringing the light. It kind of sounds like Apollo, bringing light and healing to the world. So in working with those deities, or the energy that we have present here, it is a great time to cast light upon this shadow that we are dealing with. So, all right, so like the mountain, I'm getting, again, that ambition. So part of, it could be like a workaholic situation, using work as an escape from dealing with these kind of toxic traits that have been suppressed and not healed, not dealt with. But that is how you become a stronger leader too, by showing others how you've overcome this and teaching them that they have the same inner strength in order to endure the process of transmutation. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some tarot for our pile 3 to expand upon this message. But there is amazing power here. There's already a great deal of you, pile 3, that has been healed, that you've already overcome a number of obstacles. That's why you are the anointed one being called to lead. So you've earned the right, I'm hearing. All right, underneath the deck we have the Fool. 0. Fresh start, clean slate. And what is a 0, right? It's the void, just like the new moon, the sun and the moon. All right, it's time to start on a new journey. Maybe that's part of the answering the call. You may have to travel, whether inward or outward. But new moons are all about new beginnings. Let's see what's next. The Chariot. And I mentioned the nakshatra of the chariot being driven across the sky. And they are twin gods, the Ashwini. And they drive a chariot. So anyway, this is Cancer. This is the ascension, also aligning with that mountain symbolism. Elevation of consciousness. Cancer is the height of summer. It's the summer solstice. I feel like, again, you'll be achieving your maximum power at that time. That the most amount of light in the northern hemisphere is available at the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year. So in that time frame, I think, is when a lot of your power will come to light, when you will be put in a position of leadership or authority. So it's interesting. What pile 1 was Gemini, pile 2 was Leo, and this pile is Cancer. So sidereal or tropical, whatever system you follow. But that'll be the time. And let's see, Magician. Yeah, you're the Magician. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, the number 1, Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the power and control to wield in your world, to shape your world as you see fit. And again, as above, so below, just like the imagery of the mountain. As within, so without. So everything that you hold within, your inner world is reflected in your outer world. So what you want, basically what your world is right now, your physical existence, is a reflection of everything, all the energy going on inside of you. And if you don't like what you see on the outside, it's because things need to be shifted, adjusted, or changed on the inside. We now have 3 major arcana. We have the Fool, 0, 1, and 7. So, and that's the black and the white again, right? From the shadow card, from the eclipse, the sun and the moon, moving from dark to light. And next we have the 10 of Cups, the happiness, the completion, the rainbow, right? This is the final decan of the zodiac, the end of Pisces, before we begin at Aries again, number 1. So again, I'm getting the image from the Vedic astrology of the chariot being driven over the sky and kind of spreading healing and joy and happiness to the world below. Again, bringing love, light, and joy down to reality, sharing it with the people. Again, as you're exalted as this leader, as you're empowered as this masculine lunar god, this healed masculine, that gives you the power to demonstrate that to the rest of the world, which it really needs right now. It needs healed masculine and healed feminine energy, whichever you embody whatever your soul expresses the greatest amount of is what the world needs. So the shadow work is not just for your benefit, it's for the benefit of the people, for the world. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Earth, stability, security. That whole stand your ground thing is being reiterated here, right? Because this is the only knight in the deck that's not animated as like running or moving forward. That's often called the slowest knight in the deck, but it's also the most stable. It's the most grounded. You're not budging for anybody. You have like the world's strongest ego, which is a good thing, a healthy ego. So you move on your own accord when you're ready. You make moves. The world doesn't move you. And finally, we have the Six of Coins. I mentioned giving back, right? Sharing with the world. Sharing your joy. You making your joy the world's joy. This is generosity. This is reciprocity. Taking the darkness, turning into light and giving it back to the world. Here we have the sign of Libra here, balance. Again, have to do with that stability, the centeredness, the standing your ground. And the Chariot also is balanced too. It's utilizing the dark and the light. It's not favoring one and suppressing the other. It's utilizing feminine and masculine. The Magician has to embrace all elements, earth and water are feminine, fire and air are masculine. The Magician is the center of it all. It's the fifth element. He's the ether. He is the alchemist. So there is the integration that needs to occur if it hasn't yet. If there's lingering bits of shadow that you have not confronted, embraced within yourself and healed and let go, then that's the only thing stopping you from this ascent, from answering this call. But I feel like many of you are well on your path to doing that. If you're not already in a position to begin that ascent, again, reaching with the height of summer, I feel is going to be, could be even the height of your fame or recognition, or when people are really noticing you. Okay, that's all I have for us. Oh wait, how could I forget our Making Magic sigil cards? So, especially with the Magician here and all this masculine energy of will being expressed. So, Six of Coins is also this placement of Moon in Taurus. So it could be this new moon in Taurus or full moon in Taurus. That would be when the sun's in Scorpio later this year. That would be after the next eclipse, October 14th. Maybe that's when the reciprocity is coming out. Little luxuries generates luxurious experiences and surroundings. Well, yeah, I'd say so. With the Ten of Cups and the Six of Coins, the ability to be generous too. I mean, sharing those luxuries with others could be a theme for you as well, or creating them for yourself and enjoying the little things in life. We have Love Charm, attract a lover, soulmate, or life partner. Well, with Libra being there, the seventh house of partnership, that could also be something that's in your future, that as you're expressing this healed masculine energy, that you can also attract a healed feminine energy. Again, regardless of sex or gender, it's the polarities that meet and merge into a soul of one. It's just an energetic energy. Obviously, healing, true healing of the mind, body, and soul. All right, so in healing yourself, I think that, again, is what attracts the love charm there. Having a healed, functional relationship. And I like that that's right in front of this Ten of Cups. Ooh. And then insight opens the third eye to strengthen intuition. All right, so intuition is typically a feminine trait. But yeah, using your instincts, again, your self-developed insight, your own experience that has led you to this firm, grounded position in the mountain and the Knight of Coins. And the balanced, seeing things from the middle, from both sides, able to see both sides of the coin, both scales, both sides of the scale in Libra. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, Pile 3. Thank you for being on your journey. I hope you so continue to answer the call and push forward. through these challenges, whatever Saturn brings you, but it will be again greatly rewarded there with the 6 of Coins. What you put out will come back to you. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.